My friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family, hope you guys are doing well out there.
We hope you're doing super well.
It's election day and all, and November and December have so many signs in the skies. There's so many things going on astrologically when you look at it. It's kind of mind-blowing. We got 3 meteor showers and a lunar eclipse this month.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And so the lunar eclipse is going to affect the areas that we see here. So United States, Mexico, Canada, it's going to be affecting you, as well as some other areas.
Yeah, it will. So we all need to be safe.
And just recognize the effects of these signs and where the planets are. Again, astrology is a part of this matrix that we live in. It's part of the programming of the matrix, and everything is interrelated, and everything affects each other, as there is a quantum entanglement going on. So this is where the solar eclipse is going to be, which is really going to be through South America and just a little bit of Africa.
Interesting.
So you see here solar eclipses, which will occur in 2020 on June 21st. So we've had that one already, and December 14th. Typically correspond to new beginnings and unexpected opportunities. However, since the sun, which symbolizes our external experience, is obscured by the moon, representing our emotional inner world during this lunation, solar eclipse events often first begin internally. For many people, solar eclipses are when we realize we need more than what we're currently receiving. They're a time to send cosmic invitations to the universe and to welcome abundance. Lunar eclipses, on the other hand, help us realize the external implications of these shifts. It's often during a lunar eclipse that we become aware of the influence of others. As the moon emits a mystifying umber tone, it allows us to see people under a different light. This shift in perspective is critical, even though you may not always like what you see. During lunar eclipses, we are encouraged to let go of whatever is no longer serving the soul. And so this is going to be November 30th.
Mm-hmm. These things definitely change frequencies.
Yes, they certainly do. And then we had the great X marks the spot 2 eclipses. Now, these were 2 solar eclipses in 7 years. And the first one of which has already transpired, and that was August 21st, 2017. And the next one is going to be April 8th, 2024. I've talked about this at least a dozen times in videos. It felt like such a significant event. And then, of course, we had the Revelation 12 sign that everybody talked about in September that was of perhaps great significance as well. Now, what's interesting is the median time halfway through this it's not quite 7 years, but halfway through this time period is the 11th of December, 2020. So that in and of itself is very, very interesting. Now, this is from Joni Patry, who's a Vedic astrologer that Cindy has followed for years.
She's very good. She's usually spot on. She's so informative.
She is. And so Vedic astrology is a little different than Western astrology, and Cindy could tell us why.
Well, it takes into account the tilt of the earth, which is really important. And also it goes back around 8,000 years. We can track it back, whereas Western astrology only goes back about 2,000 maybe.
So, yes. And as there's more detail, I feel, to it as well. So as you see here now, this is a message from her. Please remember that Mercury is changing to direct today, indicating confusion concerning repressed communications that will begin to move forward. That's very interesting for today. In practical terms, especially today in the United States, this shift appears to refer to the media and its reversals during the time of our U.S. election. The sign of Libra represents balance and fairness, and any of the inconsistencies that arise in the next few days will have to be weighed out for a period of time. Look deeper into this placement. Mercury is in the nakshatra Chitra, ruled by Mars, and Mars is in the nakshatra Revati, ruled by Mercury. Placing these two planets in Parivartana, which is a mutual exchange of signs. This Mercury station relates to the violence of retrograde Mars, meaning there will be anger and violence as a result in the coming days.
And I believe her too. I believe this. We are getting these frequencies in now.
And you have gotten the same message from the galactics, basically, and we can feel it. Boy, we can feel it today. Today, can you guys feel the energy today? We've had a few people that we worked on, and that helps with the energies when you're sending out good energies and focusing on that. But otherwise, it feels very tense. It feels like there's a building.
Definitely huge.
So Joni says, expect mass confusion, anger, and violence at this time. Please do what you can do to stay safe. We can only control ourselves during these challenging times, and she wishes everyone peace and healing from within. And so that's Joni. And so, again, she's a very, very learned Vedic astrologer. And she had basically a whole piece that she wrote looking forward to November and what November is going to bring in. And whether we're looking towards this time with bated breath, eagerly awaiting it, or more eagerly dreading it in a way, this is the time we've been waiting for. And so, one of her first questions is, what's going to be the result of the election in U.S.? And, the thing is that what all these signs are saying is that we might not have a clear and definitive winner right away.
No, we most likely won't. It's the same. It's the same planetary alignment as it was in 2000.
Yeah. So, think hanging chads. Think what happened with Gore and Bush. Remember how we had, we had Florida flip-flop, went one way and then flip-flopped the other way. And the whole outcome of the election changed. And then what did we have after that? 9 months later, we had 9/11, which changed the world forever. This is the same thing that we're going through right now, the same energies.
Yeah, and they are concerning.
So for November, she gets into it. Obvious big things are coming. Neptune is at the midpoint of Rahu and Ketu, which are the modes of the moon. Nodes of the moon instead of modes of the moon.
Yeah, they're two nodes of the moon. They're not planetary. They're not planets, but they are planetary influences.
And it's interesting, too, because Rahu is actually a demon in the Vedic myths as well. And so it indicates an uncovering of deception and corruption. Neptune can also indicate disease, and this could lead to a major uncovering related to the CV issue that we know of. And so a better understanding perhaps will come when the both eclipses happen, November 30th and December 14th. So interesting. And Rahu and Ketu, being in the signs of Taurus and Scorpio, begin the ultimate healing of the catastrophes Rahu and Ketu created when they were in Gemini and Sagittarius. Every 18.5 years, these catastrophes occurred, and it was in the year and a half following Rahu and Ketu in Taurus and Scorpio when a healing occurred. So Rahu will be in Taurus, Ketu in Scorpio, September 19th through March 15th, 2022. But during the eclipse season, there's always an uncovering of something from the past that we didn't know before. And this occurs in our world affairs as well as our daily lives. And then today, Mercury's turning direct, and that's election day. It indicates a reversal in worldly and personal affairs. The last time this occurred in the same sign was on election day in 2000. And we know what happened. The election results were not finalized for a while. She's saying straight out, this is going to occur again.
Yeah, she is. Mm-hmm.
And so Mars will turn direct on November 14th, another turning point with mass emotions and concerning anger. There will be major protests acted out all over the world. A serious change of heart will create extreme polarization. With so much discord and emotional extremes, the world will begin to shake and cry. When this happens with an approaching eclipse season, there will be more earth changes, earthquakes, severe weather, and more fires. On November 12th, Pluto and Jupiter will conjunct at 28 degrees Sagittarius. Mars, while in Pisces, ruled by Jupiter, is deeply influenced by this conjunction because Jupiter is the dispositor of Mars. Pluto rules explosive events that are transformative. The sign Sagittarius and Nakshatra Ashada, rules strong righteous beliefs that adds to the extremes in the social uprising and violence about to occur. Aside from the contested elections, there are also potential terrorist attacks occurring globally, is what she is saying again. This is Joni saying this. Furthermore, the lunar eclipse occurs at 14 degrees Taurus. The fixed star Antares is 15 degrees Scorpio. This is the star of war, and there will be an outbreak of extreme fighting and war around the world. I regret to say that the world would be a dangerous place this month. Lay low, do not contribute to worldly discord, and stay away from crowds. We are approaching the most extreme time of 2020. All forms of communications are affected. The mass media gives conflicting messages, and the truth becomes more confusing. People will believe what they want to believe, and will not listen to news that doesn't confirm their perspective. And we've seen that in people. We've seen where people are totally ignoring something that goes against their perspective, and they're choosing only to look at that which builds up their perspective. And again, this is leading to the division, and the anger is going to erupt unless we could, wake up an awful lot of people really, really quickly.
And they're really good about creating division.
Yeah, so extreme beliefs become more important than finding the truth. And this is the dilemma the world is facing. We see that so clearly. On November 20th, Jupiter is going to enter Capricorn, which will be the change. Formerly believed results. Okay, so that's going to change formerly believed results. So perhaps somewhere around November 20th is where the election outcome becomes evident, and perhaps it's not the original thing that was thought to be occurring. So if one side looks like they have been declared victor after a few days perhaps, and maybe it gets reversed about this time, and it's not the case, that will definitely make a lot of people angry.
It sure will.
At this time, there will be evidence that cannot be denied concerning the facts that the mass media has been giving false information. This will have an effect on the outcome of the U.S. elections. The results of the elections will flip-flop, but at this time, there is a resolution, and the outcome will enrage many. But the truth will be revealed at this time. And that is the continuing propaganda the media has been given to the public. At the time of the 2016 elections, Neptune was conjunct K2, which indicates extreme illusion and deception. The media predicted Hillary Clinton was going to win the elections by 90%, but obviously this was not the truth, as Neptune and K2 conjunction indicated. In the chart that Joni uses for the U.S., this conjunction occurred in the third house of communications and media. At the time of the elections in 2020, Neptune is at the midpoint of Rahu and Ketu during the lunar and solar eclipse in November and December. This means the darkest corruptions will be revealed that will actually change the world, and specifically the U.S. government forever.
Yeah.
That's a huge statement. And what we got from the Galactics was, they were showing back in August, and timelines can change, that basically neither of these guys were going to end up ultimately in control. That it was going to be perhaps, a military situation, martial law, something along those lines. Perhaps also the beginning of the breakup of the states as well.
I kind of feel that's happening now, yeah.
It is. So her mantra for the future of humanity during these turbulent times is, may the best thing occur for the highest good for everyone on planet Earth right now. And she believes there's a divine force operating to create our eventual good through all the changes to come, just as we have to trust the outcome.
Yep.
So, this is big, guys. These are big changes that are coming. And when we talk about, all these different signs in the skies, from the eclipses that are coming, the eclipses that have already been, as well as other things, because, again, we also have the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a really big deal too.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge. And so when you look at things astrologically, and, some people don't believe in it, and others very, very do. When you look at it, even, the biblical quote on these times is there's going to be signs in the heavens, right? And then we also have all the sightings of different types of UFOs, and we have the asteroids, the fireballs going on. There's so much to go on. And so we have the Saturn and Jupiter grand conjunction, which happens on December 21st, and that's a time frame of a date that guides gave me a while ago. They were just saying December 17th through 21st. Big changes and a changing of the guard also. So on December 21st, we have a major astrological event occurring. It's called the Grand Conjunction. It happens only every 20 years, charting our collective astrological path for the next 2 decades. Astrology heads are keying into this date because it could be a bumpy ride when Saturn and Jupiter move into Area Aquarius and out of earthy Capricorn. So this is huge as well. Huge conjunction. All these different things coming together at the same time. A grand conjunction is what happens when the planets of Jupiter and Saturn in particular meet up. Together they are known as the Great Chronocrator, meaning the great markers of time, and they have always been associated with epochal social change when they coincide in their orbital preambulations. So social change. This is huge. We are waking up. This is, the timeline that Nostradamus, I believe, was talking about when he talked to his son Caesar, and he spoke of the revolutions in various nations that are going to go on for years.
Yeah, it's happening now. It's coming to the pinnacle now.
It is. And so we have all these things coming together at the same time frame. Can you feel it?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, we are both feeling it today strongly. The energy is really potent today. As always, we should be grounding ourselves. Meditation, yoga, even just getting out and getting a run in if you're of that mindset. Some way you need to burn off the excess energies that are hitting us all today.
Yes, do.
So, as always, guys, thank you for your support on Patreon and also on Ko-Fi. We have some new Patreons that we wanted to thank. And
thank you, Pamela Nam and Kimberly Bear. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. As always, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.